This is my fourth time trying to shoot this video. The first time I did it and the audio was super wonky. The second time I did it, I tried to be like really casual and just did not like it. The third time, I didn't hit record and I talked to myself for like probably 10 minutes before realizing, okay, apparently we are recording this time, so I guess that means it is time to say, welcome back to Dano Does Things. My name is Dano and thank you for coming to check out this video. If you have been subscribed to me, you'll know that I post crafty videos every Wednesday, but I've been on a bit of a forced hiatus while I was moving. Finally, I have constructed my little craft corner here in the basement of my new place, and I am very excited to get back into crafting. To ease us all back into video content, I would just give you a quick little tour of both my new craft room and a bit of a tour on how I film my videos. I know I was always interested when I started filming YouTube videos about what kind of equipment everybody used, and so I thought I would give you a little glimpse into that. As for equipment, it's important to note that I started with zero equipment when I was recording. I actually recorded in my bathroom. I would drag my tiny desk into my bathroom because I had some really nice vanity lighting, and it was the best lighting by far in the house, and I didn't have any extra lights or anything like that, so it was just me and my phone and a tripod in the bathroom filming craft videos. And honestly, it was great to start. I wanted to see if it was something I actually wanted to do before I invested in any other equipment. Now I've been doing videos for about 2 years, and so I definitely have invested in some other equipment along the way, but I didn't just buy everything all at once. I definitely picked up a few pieces here and there. So for lighting, I now have 2 lights that I use. So I have my one big main light, which is a lume cube, and I do have a light stand to go with that, which is adjustable height. And then I have a fill light, which is just a standard ring light. If I can find the exact model, I will let you know. As for tripods, I use 2 different ones. I have a small one, which is a Joby, the one with those like extendable, movable legs, so you can sort of configure it in whatever way you want. I find that one to be really nice when I'm filming like outside, or if I need to get a really close shot, or I'm going rogue and I'm just holding it in my hands. That one's a really nice one to have. And then I also have just a very sort of generic, normal tripod. I can't tell you any information about it because it is my dad's from many years ago, and I took it from him because my one that I got from Amazon, it was just like an Amazon Basics tripod. It broke because it was Amazon and cheap. And this one is like really solid, really heavy, which is great for stability. And so I used that, and I also bought an extending arm for it. I don't know what the proper term is for it, but basically it's so that the arm can extend out from the tripod. So when I want to film overhead shots, I can have my camera out here and my tripod back here, so I don't see my tripod legs in my overhead shots. So that's been super helpful for crafting YouTube especially. As for audio, I use the Rode Microphone Go 2 kit, which basically comes with 2 parts. There's one cube that you connect to your phone or your camera, and then there's one cube that you connect to yourself or to a lavalier mic. So I've got that connected to me back here, so the audio is going from here, sending it to my phone, so I just get a little bit better audio than your phone. For a camera, I don't have anything fancy. I use my iPhone. It is an iPhone 12 Pro, so it's one of the ones with the 3 lenses, so it gives me a lot of options. I really enjoy it. I think that the video is really good for what I do. I would love to someday upgrade to a camera that has a rotating screen, so I can be 100% sure that it's recording when I'm recording, because I don't want to tell you the amount of times I've not hit record and haven't recorded a whole video. If I'm doing any secondary shots for my videos, I will use my iPad. The camera isn't as good, obviously, as the big iPhone, but if I just need like a little different angle, close-up shot, then I definitely use that. I also use my iPod. It's not an iPod, it's a big iPod. I also use my iPad for Procreate to create my thumbnails, and sometimes I do like little doodly animations that I put into my videos, and I also use Procreate for that. So the iPad is really good for those final touches, which I love. For editing my videos, I do use Adobe Premiere Pro now. I did use Filmora for a very long time. They have a free version, and then they have a version that I think is about, I think I paid about $60 for it, and it was an unlimited license. And so it worked really well for me for quite some time until I actually learned a bit more about editing, and I finally knew what I wanted to do, and I needed a few more tools to be able to do that. I also use Adobe Audition to record and edit voiceovers, whereas before I used the free Audacity, which was a great app, and I actually kind of prefer it to Audition, but I was paying for all of the Adobe products, and so I got Audition, and it felt wrong not to use it, so that's what I use. And like I mentioned, I use Procreate to do my thumbnails, but I just did them in Canva for the longest time. Again, another free app that is just super helpful when you're starting out and you don't want to put a lot of money into things right away. I've definitely made some investments into this now, and you can definitely start with like nothing, but again, if you're curious, here's some information. So I think that about covers the electronic and technical side of it. So we can move on to the actual craft studio. So nice to have like a permanent space that has lots of storage, and more storage than I need right now that I can grow into, which is amazing because everything was just packed to the gills in my last place. The cabinet that I have back here is the Ikea Calyx, which I think is used by a lot of crafters. This one is the 4x4, and I do have a base on it. And I put on 4 of these cupboard inserts, and I put 4 of these drawer inserts as well. Back here we have the pegboard, also from Ikea. It's called the Scottis. And I just really like having this sort of open grabbing area, so I can just grab scissors or a ruler or some dried roots if I need them, just right at hand, right there when I need it. I've got 2 carts down here, which are, you guessed it, from Ikea. I have this rolly cart, which was really great when I was in my old house and I didn't have a permanent craft spot, so I would roll my cart full of supplies around the house depending on where I was crafting, but now it's just some great extra storage. I also have this sort of perforated looking drawers over here, which is what I use to dry flowers and plants in. I got really into natural dyes this summer, and I've been dyeing wool, and I've been collecting plants and flowers and making my mom collect plants and flowers for me so that I can make all these dyes, so I have things drying in there, and then once they're done drying, I often put them in those jars up there. That's just more natural dye supplies that I have been using to make some really pretty things for a project that I'm sure I'll talk about at some point. My table here I got off of Facebook Marketplace for real cheap, and I just sanded the top and refinished it with wax. I actually really love the sort of rustic beat up look of it because a craft table shouldn't be like pristine. If you're worried about wrecking your craft table, then like you've got a problem. You need to be able to get messy and get wild when you're working. And so having just sort of this old table, it's really solid wood. And so it's great, has lots of stability, and I can just paint and draw and felt and glue gun without worrying about damaging the table at all. So that's the kind of crafting that I'm looking for. Obviously, I'm not the most like aesthetic or advanced YouTuber, but I think this is a very realistic setup and a very realistic craft studio. So if you're looking for some inspiration, I hope that you found it here. If you are not subscribed, please do. I post crafty videos every Wednesday, and I would love to connect with you on Instagram as well. Follow me at Dano Does Things. Send me a DM. Tell me that you saw my video. That would be awesome. I think that about does it. So I will just say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.